Poor by choice. Hi, I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist. Well, we're doing something different in today's podcast. Usually I will start with something that spurs an idea from the Wall Street Journal and then go off to other authors and concepts and so forth. Today I'm going to stay with a Wall Street Journal article during our entire time together. The article is titled, U.S. Retirement Crisis Hits Black Americans Hard. It's from the Wall Street Journal on February 23, 2021. Subtitle is Lower Incomes and Home Ownership Rates Are Contributing Factors. The article is by Ann Tergeson and Heather Gillers, and they have this classic case of a woman named Kimberly Owens who has a lot of college debt. If I can do it quickly enough, we're going to look at 8 reasons why Miss Owens has made a choice to be poor. Number 1, it says in the article here that she has a degree in business administration from Albertus Magnus College and a graduate degree in the same field from the University of New Haven. Number 1, she overpaid for her college education. I happened to look it up. The tuition at Albert Magnus is $33,000 a year, and at the University of New Haven it's $40,000. I also looked up the average in-state tuition, and these figures are not real reliable, and they vary some depending on how you calculate, so I looked up 2 different numbers. One of them said $11,000, one said $20,000, so let's take the average of 15. That means that Miss Owens, by attending 4 years at Albertus Magnus, was overpaying by about $15,000 a year, or choosing to overpay by about $15,000 a year times 4 years, that's $60,000. Her 2 years at the University of New Haven, she made the choice to overpay by about $25,000 per year, that's $50,000. 60 plus 50 is $110,000 that she made a choice to overpay. The article said she ended up with student loans of $80,000. Are you doing the math with me? Miss Owens made a choice to overpay by $110,000 and ended up with loans of $80,000. Think about it. If she had done the average, if she'd attended universities that were the average in-state tuition, she would have walked away with $30,000 in the bank. But instead she walks away $80,000 in debt. And the authors don't point this out to you, that she made a choice. I mean, that's just the average. If she'd been like Dave Arnott and gone even cheaper, she would have walked away with $120,000 to $150,000 in the bank at the end, not 100, at the end of her education. Oh my goodness. She would have saved that much is what I meant to say. Okay, item number 2. Miss Owens is single. That's a choice. Let's make it real simple. Which household has more income? 2 workers or 1? Well, Miss Owens has made a choice to be single. That has made her poorer. Her family income is lower because she has 1 income instead of 2. Item number 3. Miss Owens, it says in the article, liquidated 2 401k accounts in the early 2000s. One when an expected raise fell through. Okay, item number 3. What expected raise? So she expected to get a raise, and it sounds like then she made a choice to make some financial commitments because of the expectation of the raise that didn't come through. That was her choice. So that's item number 3. Item number 4. Let me read from the article. Miss Owens' administrative positions over the years haven't paid enough, end quote. Oh, so it's not Miss Owens' fault. It is the job's fault. Let me read that for you again. Miss Owens' administrative positions over the years haven't paid enough to cover, and they go on and on. See the way they worded that? See, it's not Miss Owens' choice to have those jobs. It is the job's fault. That's item number 4. Item number 5. Then it goes on to say, her job didn't pay enough to cover more than the minimum student loan payment on an income-driven repayment plan. That's item number 5. So actually, this is a government program here, apparently, that encourages you to take a lower-paying job so that you have to pay less on your loans. How backward is that? What's one of the things I say most often is that the only thing that separates rich from poor countries is policies that promote production. This policy promotes non-production. It has encouraged Miss Owens to take a lower-paying job so she can pay less on her loans. Any society that has those kinds of qualifications or those kinds of production inefficiencies is going to get poor. Item number 6, a quote from Miss Owens, quote, "It's a losing game," end quote. She said, yes, it is a losing game that she willingly entered. She signed the student loans. She made a choice. She could have gone to other universities. She has entered a losing game, and now she's figuring out what it is, because this $800,000 that she ended with have ballooned with interest to 6 figures, it says in the article. Yeah. Item number 7. This one goes back to the group, actually, which I'm not going to spend much time on today. That's an entire another podcast about why some groups are richer and some are poorer. But for now, I will refer you to one of my favorite economists, Thomas Sowell, in his book, Discrimination and Disparity. He explains that much better than I can. Item number 7, in which Miss Owens has made the choice to be poor. The article here talks about the foreclosure crisis of more than a decade ago. It hit black households harder than white ones. Well, anybody who lost their home in the foreclosure crisis had a highly leveraged loan. They made a choice. They signed a highly leveraged note, and that's how they lost their home. Item number 8, and we'll try to close this. 8 ways in which she has become poor by choice. The 8th is, this one's interesting. Okay, so the authors now in the article go back to the group, and they have this quote from a guy named Marty Cho, 36, works as a nurse practitioner, and he's talking about culture. Quote, "When I tell them I have to give my siblings money or I have to support my family, it's always met with a very confused look," end quote, Mr. Cho says. What do you mean you have to? Don't you make a choice? Yeah, helping your family is a good thing to do. It's a Christian thing to do. We're taught in the scriptures to do so. But do you have to? That's what he says twice in this one sentence. When I tell them I have to give my siblings money or I have to support my family, it's always met with a very confused look, he said. And I have a confused look also. Mr. Cho, you weren't forced to. You chose to. It's probably a good choice, as I mentioned, but it's a choice you made. Poor by choice. Yeah. Why does this matter to us? Because as Christian economists, we believe that individual choice is the way we should run an economy because our religion comes on an individual choice. We believe that God individually gives us the opportunity to choose or reject the invitation of Christ. We think that should flow also into our economic decisions, and that individuals should be responsible for their decisions. Miss Owens in the article here, and the article writers and Miss Owens both all seem to be saying that she's not responsible for this, that something happened to her. No, I've given you 8 points in 10 minutes here which show that she is poor by choice, and she made these choices. And we think people should be individually responsible for their choices. It seems like society has gone that way, and okay, maybe I'm an old fogey, but shouldn't individuals be responsible for their choice, not the group? I'll end with this little story. I was in New Mexico many years ago and watching local television from Albuquerque, and this young woman came on the TV and they were covering, and she had dropped out of high school and then got her GED. Well, in the meantime, scholarships allotted for her group were given to others because she hadn't graduated yet. And she looked straight into the TV camera and said these exact words. I shouldn't be discriminated against because of my choices. I hope you're either cocking your head or laughing, one of the two. Let me repeat. I should not be discriminated against because of my choices. Well, I'm sorry, yes, you should be discriminated against because of your choices, as you are discriminated for because of your choices. I mean, think of an athletic team who wins a game and then says, well, we shouldn't have won that. We made good choices. Well, of course you should win or lose based on the choices that the individual makes. That's what comes from our religion, our individual choice. Yep, poor by choice. I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist, where our slogan is, fear God, tell the truth, earn a profit. See you next time.